Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the happy hours of coaching session once again. This is your host, Ashutosh, once again with a topic, Learn Agile the Fun Way. And I'm sure you will have a lot of excitement as we move along this journey. So about me, I think many of you are already connected with me, but for those of you who are not connected with me and those of you who don't know me, this is a regular session which I try to do on every Fridays, same time. So do watch the previous sessions on happy hours of coaching, which have been conducted. We also have, apart from me, a lot of speakers who come in and talk. And I also wanted to quickly announce that next week also we have an interesting speaker coming up. Keep watching my LinkedIn space and you will come to know who the speaker is, what the topic is all about. And for those of you who are not aware, I have a YouTube channel. We have almost now 120 plus videos, 3,000 plus subscribers. So I'll be happy if you can watch the videos there. If you're not a subscriber, do subscribe there. And do watch some of the interesting videos which will help in your career journey. So on that note, something about today's topic, as I said, it's Learn Agile the Fun Way. And I'm going to keep it a very light-hearted kind of a topic. And there will be a lot of references to the Indian film industry, Bollywood, obviously. There will be a lot of references to Hollywood and some of the very iconic scenes from this movie. I'm going to talk about those iconic scenes. I'll give you a background of those scenes and how they are related to the work, what we do on a day-to-day basis. So that's the plan of action for this topic, which is there. And I'm sure all of you will be excited on a Friday evening. Friday evenings is when a Bollywood movie releases, a lot of releases coming up also now that the situation has improved in India from pandemic point of view. So I'm pretty sure that you will enjoy this topic and will be open for any feedback around it. We will try to keep it a discussion oriented session rather than me walking over through the session. So we will have conversation. So what I will do is in a moment from now, you will be unmuted and you can speak, right? So whatever picture comes, you can definitely speak around it. I'll give you a background about the picture, and what I will obviously expect is what comes to your mind. What comes to your mind when you see this picture? And don't worry, I'll give you the context. Even if you have not watched the movie, I'll definitely give you the context about this movie. And yes, I would encourage you to watch the movie later on. I'm pretty sure you will enjoy when you watch the movie again. Yeah, about me, as I said, Ashutosh Bhattodekar, have around 20 plus years of experience, being an agile coach for the last 10 to 12 years now. And yeah, I love to come on events like this. I love to take webinars. I love essentially to basically help people in their transformation journey. So that's in brief about myself. As I said, I have a YouTube channel and do subscribe to the YouTube channel. Those of you who are on LinkedIn Live and Facebook, don't worry, I will share the link with you. And do subscribe to the channel and watch 120 plus videos to help you grow in your career. I can guarantee you that you will be a different person when you watch those videos and when you apply those things into your day-to-day life. By the way, whatever I'm going to talk today is something which I have implemented. It's not just for fun. It's fun-based learning, what I call it. And I have implemented in various events, be it a sprint planning meeting, be it a sprint review, a daily scrum to some extent, and a retrospective. So these are things which I have applied in my day-to-day life. And yeah, on that note, I'll be opening up the floor. And obviously, you can now, whenever you want to speak, you can now speak when I reveal the picture and we will discuss about it, right? So we'll be talking about some patterns, anti-agile patterns, the do's and don'ts, what that picture is trying to convey. I would also appreciate if you can come on a camera so that I see who you are. It actually gives that bonding, right? I mean, if people come on a camera, it gives that unique one-to-one flavor as if you're sitting in the next room or in a cafe together. So I'll be more than happy to see you on camera. So let us start. Let us start the show. The movie begins now. And let me show the first picture to you. Okay, let me reveal the first picture to you. A very famous picture movie. I don't know if anyone knows this movie. Anyone knows this movie by any chance? A very famous of Big B. Anyone? It's a very old classic movie.
Is it Diwar?
Sholay.
No, it's not Diwar. It's not Diwar. It's not Diwar. Sorry, anyone? Sorry.
Sholay.
No, it's not. It's not Sholay also. Sholay, Mr. Bachchan is not in that in that getup. It's a movie called Majboor. Okay, and he is actually pointing the gun to the very famous villain of Bollywood, Pran. And you know what? When I heard this dialogue, what came to my mind was, you know what? When we go for interviews, right? Any interview you take, whether it's a Scrum Master interview or an Agile coach interview, the first question which everyone asks is, "Do you know Jira?" And I had a little very wrong. I mean, I would say that I had a hard time in convincing people that just knowing Jira is not that you are an agile coach, right? There are so many elements or nuances to an agile coach. Just knowing Jira doesn't make me an agile coach, or just not knowing Jira does not make me less of an agile coach than people who actually use Jira, right? So that is what came to my mind. Now, the scene here is that Mr. Bachchan is trying to tell, and it's written in Hindi there, and I've also translated it. I have picked up a revolver for the first time in my life, but I know that moment I press the trigger, the bullet is going to go from this. So that is what I told an interviewer. You know what? I have not worked on Jira at all. But believe me, give me 5 days and I'll give you the best of the best reports out of it. Whatever you can expect out of Jira, I will give you. But don't keep that as a criteria to select or reject me as an agile coach or a scrum master, right? So does knowing Jira is really what we need in an agile coach? Does a scrum master or an agile coach really need to know about Jira? That is what came to my mind when I look at this picture, right? And by the way, I have posted these pictures almost every alternate week. I do a snippet on LinkedIn, and I post these pictures just to ensure that there's a curiosity amongst the people, right? How Bollywood and Hollywood can actually help us, right? In demystifying some of the myths, patterns, anti-patterns about agile. Yeah, so that's what came to my mind. Anyone, any other comment you have on this picture, or where you think it can be applied, or in a scenario in your organization where you think this picture has been applied, or it's having a very significant, I would say, milestone of this picture? Anyone, feel free to talk about it.
Yeah, in this context, like related to interview, like how you were telling, like they ask whether we know Jira or not. That context, I want to relate it because end of the day, tools are tools, which can be learned and which can be implemented. If we follow
Absolutely right.
agile values, individuals and interactions are more important. Means the person whom we are interviewing is more important than the tools. But people don't understand it. We are more tool centric.
Perfect. Yeah, thanks, Pratibha. Thanks, Pratibha, for highlighting that point. I was about to say the first value of our Agile Manifesto says individuals and interactions over processes and tools. It doesn't mean that processes and tools are less important. I have all the respect for all these tools, whether it is Jira, Rally. But again, I always believe a fool with a tool remains a fool. Okay, that's an old adage we all know, right? So, howsoever good the tool is, if I'm a fool, I will remain a fool, right? I won't suddenly be transformed into an agile coach just because the tool is there for me. So I always believe in that adage. Yes, perfectly fine. Thanks, Pratibha, sorry for pointing it out. Anyone else, quickly, any comments on this or any thoughts on this particular picture and the messaging along with this picture? And yes, I see a lot of people commenting on LinkedIn Live. Don't worry, I will respond to your comments as we go along, right? I'm sure there are a lot of interesting comments coming on LinkedIn Live also. So thanks a lot. Continue to comment on it, and I'll be more than happy to answer those questions as we move along the course here, right? I mean, as we move along this presentation, I'm sure there'll be a lot of interesting pointers which will be coming. Okay, so let us move to our next picture. Now, this one will be a very interesting one. Okay, this one is from a Hollywood classic, a very beautiful movie, created in a unique way. And any guesses which movie is this? It's a Hollywood movie. It's one of the classics of Hollywood. Anyone guesses? You can unmute yourself and speak. Surprisingly, no one has watched this movie. It's from the classic movie Godfather, about underworld. I respect those that tell me the truth, no matter how hard it is. I think we can relate it with transparency. one of the three pillars of Scrum: transparency, inspection, and adaptation. Are we hiding any information from our stakeholders? Or are we telling a spade a spade? That is something which is very important. As coaches, as Scrum Masters, as product owners, are we giving full information to our teams? Or are we in the habit of hiding information because we think that, you know what, people should not be aware of few things? No, Scrum talks about transparency. Agile talks about a culture of openness and trust. So why hide something? Why hide something when it is better to share that information and get the quick feedback from the stakeholders, right? So one mistake which people think is that Agile is about fast delivery. It's not about fast delivery. It's about learning where the problems are quickly. You will only learn about the problems quickly when you are not hiding anything. If I try to hide something, if I try to hide a disease from a doctor, or if I don't tell the doctor when he or she does an investigation, I'm actually fooling myself, right? Because I'm prolonging the diagnosis of that disease. As they say, right, stitch in time saves nine. So if my doctor knows about this in advance, then he or she will be able to prescribe a medicine for me. But if I'm hiding something, then definitely it's a problem, right? So I respect those people who tell me the truth, no matter how hard it is. A very famous movie. I'm recommending you to watch this movie. You will learn a lot of things about, I mean, yes, it is about underworld at the end of the day, but you will see a lot of things about the corporate world getting reflected in that movie, right? The way we interact in a corporate world, something similar you will find in this movie. So transparency. Any comments anyone has on this? Any quick feedback or comments on this particular picture which is there? You can unmute yourself and you can talk. Anyone here? Yeah, I would appreciate if people can unmute and talk so that we get a different perspective out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, Ashutosh, I would strongly recommend. I would thank you for picking up this example. We are so happy, and we can rightly apply to in the context of Scrum and Agile frameworks. Definitely, for sure. That
Okay,
brings out the
thanks.
transparency.
Thanks a lot. And do watch this movie. Do watch
Yeah,
this
sure,
movie. Part 2 is
definitely.
also there. And if you have not watched, it is available on any of these OTT platforms. Whether it's, I think it's on Amazon Prime, if I'm not mistaken. It's available on Amazon
Yeah.
Prime, but it is available. So do watch this movie. I'm sure there's a lot of learning. I mean, I personally believe that movies teach us a lot of things, irrespective of the movies. And yeah, I mean, one disclaimer or one apology, I would say. I've not included the recent South Indian movies which are there, but I'll definitely bring a version 2 of this presentation where I'll include the KGFs and the Pushpas of the world also, right? So I'll introduce those also in the next edition of this, whenever we want to do a light session on learning Agile the fun way. By the way, as I said, I use these the techniques in a retrospective or when I'm doing a one-on-one coaching session. I use these techniques to coach with my coaches. Okay, let us move ahead with the third picture in the series. So there are 10 to 12 pictures which are there. And let me show you a third picture, a black and white classic. Any idea which movie is this? One of my very favorite movies. I must have watched this movie at least 15 to 20 times minimum in my entire life. Any guesses which movie is this? Omen? No, it's not Omen. It's not Omen. It's a very classic Hollywood movie. Audrey Hepburn is the actress there. You're not able to see the picture here. Are you able to see a black and white picture, everyone? Are you able to see the black and white picture?
It's
Yes.
visible.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, two people on a scooter. Okay, others are able to see. Hari, if you can just disconnect and log in again, I'm sure you will be able to see it. Others are able to see.
I disconnected and logged in again, even though I'm not able to see the picture.
Okay. Because it's a black and white picture. It's point number 3. I'm on slide number 5 actually.
Oh, okay.
I'm on slide number 5. So I don't know what is the problem. But it's a black and white picture of one of the Hollywood classic movies which is there. Anyone? Any guesses for this movie? You can't miss this movie. I'm telling you, you can't miss this movie. I mean, again, do watch this movie. So a lot of action items for you today to watch movies. So do watch this movie. I'm telling you, you will love this. At least I love this movie. I can't claim for on your behalf, but one of the very classic, I would say, Hollywood movies which is there, right? I mean, it's a fairy tale romance. but shot in a very beautiful way. I mean, it's unfortunately it got colored later on, obviously, because I mean the technology at that time was a black and white. Otherwise, it would have come out really well in natural colors. Yeah, I do see people have guessed it right on LinkedIn, I think. Yeah, so LinkedIn people have guessed it right. The name of the movie is Roman Holiday. Now, the reason why I have put it here is look at the title of the slide. It says, what should be our go-to-market strategy? Now, what happened was that when this movie came out, right, when this movie was released, you see one of the very iconic brands also there. They're riding on a scooter, which is a Vespa scooter. It was found that Vespa sales multiplied like anything. I mean, this was the what we call as the aha moment of a product. So are we really building those kind of products, the aha products, as we say, right? Iconic products. You don't have to spend money to advertise on those products. There's a self-advertisement which automatically gets created. And remember, this is 50s movie. So at time there was no branding and all those celebrity shows and all, right, for a movie launch. Yes, there used to be a movie launch, but not like a jazz and jazz what we have today, right? I mean, with a lot of celebrities and all coming in. But this shot, just because of this shot where the journalist takes the princess out on the streets of Rome, this shot became an iconic shot. And because of this, the product sales of Vespa increased multifold. I mean, that's the kind of products we should be building. This is more on the product ownership side. Are we really thinking about building products which are iconic in value? Some more examples I can give. Cadbury's Dairy Milk. That's a very, very iconic product. They play on the emotional angle. If you look at their ads, they will not tell you that you buy a chocolate because it is sweet or because it is a bitter. They will play on an emotional angle, right? As they say in Hindi, right? Kuch meetha ho jaye. Khane ke baad have something sweet after dinner. So they have made it synonymous with a sweet dish, right? So are we building those products which are iconic products, which don't really require much of an effort to sell? Or are we building run-of-the-mill products which requires a high push? So this is more about a go-to-market strategy from a product ownership perspective, where I thought I will bring about this picture. A very iconic movie again. If you have not watched it, do watch it. Roman Holiday, it's a very small movie, but I'm sure you will love the plot. You will love a lot of interesting things in that movie. Yeah, any comments on this particular picture and any thoughts on this picture? Anyone has? I'll be more than happy to discuss again. Okay. So it seems so let us move ahead then. If there are no comments, let us move ahead. And yeah, you can also give me feedback later on. How did you find the session and all? I'll be more than happy to discuss this. Okay, let us go to the next picture. Okay, so we have a lot of interesting pictures, by the way. And as I said, this is a work in progress. I will also include some of the recent hits which are there, which will make it more interesting for us. Okay, which is this movie? Anyone remembers this movie? Hindi movie? The translation of this dialogue is, sorry.
Munna Bhai MBBS?
Yes, no, it's not Munna Bhai MBBS. It's Jolly LLB. It's Jolly LLB. This is he's shown as a lawyer. He's shown as a lawyer, and he's questioning what kind of people are these? Where do they come from? Okay, so I thought that the best description of this will be Agile coach. So an Agile coach going in on his first day of his assignment. People ask that question. At least I have been asked that question. Who are you? Where have you come from? Which planet are you from? Can't you even understand that I'm a project manager in this engagement? I'm a program manager. What will you do here, right? People are supposed to listen to me. And here you come and tell me that, you know what, you have to do coaching, you have to do mentoring. Believe me, this is a pushback what you will get, especially when you're in an engagement which is at a ground zero of your agile transformation. You will be questioned. Who are you? Where have you come from, right? Which planet do you really belong? You're suggesting some ideas which are very weird, which are unheard of, which are practically impossible. They are good to be in a coaching class. They are good to be in a Scrum Master certification or an Agile Coach certification. But practically, this is not going to work, right? This is not something which is going to work, or this is not something which is going to cut ice here, right? So that kind of a reaction or that kind of a pushback, what you get from people. And this is from Jolly LLB movie. And I thought that it will be very appropriate to describe the persona of an agile coach. So just wanted to tell here to people, we are also human beings like you. Agile coaches and scrum masters are also human beings like you and me. It's just that we have been coached, we have been trained, and we have been convinced to the fact that yes, gone are the days of a command and control leadership. Today, if at all you have to survive in this VUCA world, in this Rupt world or a Bali world, as we say, we have to change our leadership style. Our leadership style has to be more from a command and control leadership style to a coaching style to a mentoring style. So that's the transition. That's the transformation. What we need to have in our journey, right? So that's how we convince. That's how we convince. And again, it's not easy. I think coaches in the room will empathize with me. It's not easy to bring about changes. It takes years to bring about changes. Believe me, it's not something which can be done overnight. It's not something which can be done by just giving a sermon in a session like this. It requires a mindset change. You have to hit at the mindset. When the mindset changes, then only those pieces start moving about. Otherwise, people are very rigid. Believe me. They are going to question you. They are going to look at an opportunity to dethrone you as an agile coach. And that's where we have to be very, very cautious as an agile coach. We need to have a lot of patience. We need to have a lot of perseverance. And I always say we have to do over communication. So maybe the same message has to be administered through a different way, right? The same messaging has to go through 2 or 3 different means is what we have to do. All right, let us go to the next one. Let us go to the next one and let us see what is the next one which is there. Again, one of my favorite movies, one of my motivation to become an agile coach is this movie. Okay, it's a classic movie, friends. If you have not watched this movie, I would say that you have not learned about coaching, what exactly coaching is all about, right? And this is anyone remembers this movie? Anyone knows this movie? A very famous movie of Devanand, I mean, of Navketan International, produced by his brother, of course, a very famous movie. Anyone remembers this movie or has watched this movie? So as coaches, you should watch this movie, even if it is in Hindi. There's an English version also. Guide. Yes, Guide. Yes, this is Guide. This is the movie Guide, the journey of an alcoholic into a sannyas. That is the transformation what you see in this movie. This is one of the longest Hindi movies, by the way. It's almost 3.5 to 4 hours movie. One of the classic movies which has got good songs, which obviously every Bollywood movie has. But the underlying story is transformation from an alcoholic personality into a sannyas, into a kind of a saint, what we see, right? And the dialogue he's making is, in logo ko mujh pe vishwas hai. These people believe in me. और मुझे इनके विश्वास पे विश्वास and I trust their trust. Okay, so do we trust our team members? Do we bring about a culture of trust? Do we bring about a culture of belief in our teams, right? That is something very important. Or are we basically just for a namesake, a transformation agent there? How do we build about a culture of trust? How do we build about a culture of empathy into our teams? That is something which is very, very vital and important, right? One of the key pillars, one of the key, I would say, foundation blocks of any transformation is to build around a culture of trust. And trust is very difficult to build, believe me. It again takes a lot of time to get that buy-in, get that trust factored in between you and the other stakeholders, right? So trust is not easy to build. It is very easy to break though. I do one wrong thing and the trust is broken. So let's say we have been friends for so many years and I do one negative thing which impacts you. It could be financially, it could be professionally, it could be personally. I insult you. And believe me, the trust is the easiest thing to be broken. Very difficult to create it, but very easy to break it. So how do I create a culture of trust? I think that's a question which we all need to ponder as coaches. Okay, let's go to the next one. This one, no one can forget it. Yeah, which one is this? This one, I think someone, yeah, which movie is this?
Surely.
Perfect. This is Sholay. This is Sholay, undoubtedly one of the greatest Bollywood movies. Undoubtedly one of the classic movies, I mean, which basically spawned a lot of duplicates around it. There's one scene in that where Gabbar says, Holi kab hai Holi? When is a Holi? Holi is a festival in India of colors. And he's asking his dacoits, when is Holi? When is this festival of Holi? You know what? What came to my mind was, do our product owners know when is the product launch date? Or are they still struggling like this person that when is Holi, right? I mean, when are we launching the product? Do we know? Or are we just building a product without even bothering when is the product launch going to happen? Believe me, I have been in such engagements where no one had a clue. No one was ready to take that accountability. Scrum Guide talks about accountability, right? So product owner was not willing to take an accountability. She or he was unwilling to tell us when is the product launch date. They used to say, no, you just develop it. Why are you worried about the launch date? No, as stakeholders, as the developers in the Scrum, we are entitled to know when is a product launch date, when is our are our efforts going to bear the fruits. So that's basically the product launch date. What we are, when are we launching the product? Holi kab hai? When is the Holi, right? So we don't know. I mean, many people are clueless. They are clueless about the product launch date. They are clueless about who is the customer. We don't even know who's going to use these products. So they have not done a proper hypothesis. They have not done a due diligence at the beginning. And just because some funds are available, we have started with the development without realizing the fact as to when the product launch is going to happen. So when is the Holi? All right, let's go to the next one. I'm sure this one will be exciting one. Again, from the movie Godfather. It's written there in the picture. Another iconic dialogue from the movie Godfather. Just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in. I don't know how many of you have experienced this. As an agile coach, I have experienced this. I move out of an engagement and within 1 month, they try to call me back. No, Ashutosh, you come back again. We need you desperately. You know what? It was good you were there, right? Now you have gone. Things are going back to the old habits, right? So this is a problem. This is a problem of a coach. So if I used to tell them, then it's really a problem of me. Because as a coach, you should know what is the right time to exit from an engagement. And it's not just exiting, closing the door and forgetting that transformation. No, it's about building a person like you. One of the seminars I did last month in Delhi as a part of Agile NCR, I had this topic that what is the right time to exit from an coaching engagement. This entire point, what you see on the screen, I'd actually presented some triggers that what exactly is the right time. Is it just because your contract is over, you exit out of it? Or is it okay, you have spent X days, let's say 100 days in a coaching engagement, or 300 days or 1,000 days in a coaching engagement, you exit out of it? Or as a coach, I'm a permanent member of the team. That's the question there, right? Question number 8. That is the permanent, am I a permanent member of the team or am I a floating member of the team? So that's the question which we as coaches should be able to answer, right? And again, you may not have an answer on this on the first day or on the middle of the transformation. You will get those feelers. You will, what I call it as coaching triggers. You will get those feelers from the team that XYZ or Mr. ABC is a person who can actually be your replacement. Remember, an agile coach is not a permanent member. One day he or she has to move out of the engagement, because the longer you are there, the more trouble you're going to create for the team, right? It's always important to rotate the coaching engagement. It's always important to bring in new faces, bring in new perspectives, new ideas into this. Anyone has experienced this, that you move out of a coaching engagement and things again start falling back to the old bad habits which are there? Anyone experienced this? Anyone has seen this happening in their transformation journey? I'll be happy to know about it. I'll be happy to learn your experiences. So anyone wants to speak? And those of you who are on LinkedIn Live, you can share me the feedback on LinkedIn. I will definitely have a look at it and go through it. Yeah, anyone has seen this happening? Or these challenges coming up, that they consider you as a permanent member of the team, or they don't want to release you, or they don't want to leave you because there's an affinity which has been created between the coach and the team. Yeah, anyone? By the way, there are more pictures coming up, so I'm sure it will be exciting as we move along. Okay. Okay, so the next picture is in relation with this picture, and it is from a very famous motivational movie, Chak De India. Okay, the last dialogue of this movie, one of the last dialogues of this movie, when Shah Rukh Khan addresses the team before their final match, he says that today I'm not going to teach you how hockey is played. Today you are going to teach me how a good game of hockey is played. Sorry, that is the translation of this dialogue, right? So that's the coaching. That's one of the coaching triggers you get where you as a coach learn from the team. I'm pretty sure as coaches, we learn a lot of things from our teams. It's not a one directional traffic that as a coach, only I coach my team. There's a lot of reverse coaching also, which happens. There are a lot of things, good practices we learn from our team members during a coaching transformation. And the day you are in a position to make this dialogue in your transformation, to say this dialogue in your transformation, that's the feeler that yes, it is a right time to exit from this engagement. Otherwise, you will keep on searching for the right time. That right time will never come. There will be pressures, there will be pulls from other side. But one of the main aspects of coaching is to create more people like you. In fact, that should be our KRA. That should be our part of our goal sheet. That can you create someone like you? Can we have a clone version of Ashutosh in the transformation? However bad Ashutosh is, that is fine. But we want the same clone version of Ashutosh in the transformation. Can we have that? Can we have a clone version of Ashutosh created so that when Ashutosh goes out, this person is the replica. This person is the person who's going to take it, right? So that's the one of the coaching triggers. This is not the only coaching trigger. This is one of the coaching triggers what you can have in your transformation. Learn something from the team, right? A very powerful dialogue. And I'm sure you have watched this movie. The dialogue is a part of that very iconic sentence with which it starts, 70 minutes, sirf 70 minute hai tumhare paas. That's the dialogue in which this particular line is about coaching trigger. तो मैंने सोचा इस मैच में कैसे खेलना है आज मैं नहीं बताऊंगा लेकिन तुम मुझे खेलकर बताओगे. That's the coaching trigger. The day my team tells me that this is how we do retrospective, this is how we have done a demo, that's when I have learned from them. That's when it's a time for me to hang up my boots from that transformation and go to another transformation. Okay, let us move ahead. Let us move ahead to another interesting picture. And there are a couple of more pictures, and then I will open up the floor for questions. Very interesting movie. Anyone remembers this movie? One of the movies, I think this is the movie which catapulted Big B into the Big B League, actually. Anyone remembers this movie? This was the first hit movie of Mr. Bachchan. Earlier, all his movies were flop before this. And he was regarded as a failed actor. This is not a Diwar, again. Diwar was not a movie which brought him into the limelight. This is Janjeer. This is Janjeer. And again, the topic, the dialogue is similar. इस इलाके में नए आए हो साहब. Okay, इस इलाके में नए आए हो साहब. वरना शेर खान को कौन नहीं जानता. Right? So an agile coach questioning a project manager. Who are you? I did that mistake once. I asked, without going into a proper introduction, I asked that person, okay, who are you? Tell me, what do you do? And he said, you don't know me? Come on, everyone knows in this project, right? There are 100 people who report to me, and it seems you are new to this transformation, right? That's why you don't know me. That's the reply I got, and this picture came to my mind that day. Day one as an agile coach. This is probably a mistake to be avoided. Okay, as an agile coach, don't ever do that. Okay, you bump into a project manager or a delivery manager or a program head in a transformation, and you ask that person, "Who are you? What are you doing?" Don't make that mistake. Okay, I did that mistake. I'm admitting here in front of live audience that I did that mistake, and then it actually boomeranged on me, right? So the conversation has to be positive. The conversation has to be intent. You have to assure the project manager that you are not going to snatch his or her job. The project manager will also try to list down some of the challenges where he can utilize you, he or she can utilize you. And that's the kind of a conversation what we need to have, rather than having such an acrimonious conversation and basically each one trying to prove each other wrong. It should be more of a collaborative conversation which should be there, right? Between an agile coach, a project or a program manager. And this is usually what we end up doing in the first day of the transformation, right? We make that mistake. We assume things, or either we don't have all the information with us and we directly bump into a meeting only to be embarrassed, only to be sometimes insulted also. And sometimes we also feel bad that, oh, I should have approached this person in a different way. This was probably not a right way of asking in a public forum who you are, right? So very famous dialogue again. And do watch these dialogues. Even if you don't watch these movies, do watch these dialogues. I'm sure there's a lot of learning from these dialogues which comes to our way, right? I mean, a lot of learning comes to our way. Okay, the next one. Which movie is this? A very cult comedy movie. This movie comes on TV. Even now, it might be running. By the way, as you are in this coaching conversation, this movie, yeah, Andaz Apna Apna, right? Yeah, a very famous scene, right? I mean, is हमारे plan के मुताबिक, as per our plan, these people, these two jokers, actually keep on planning, and every plan fails. Every plan fails. It's a typical waterfallish mindset these two people have. If you look at the movie, okay, they keep on planning something, and something else only happens in the plan, right? And the head villain is frustrated because he has got such a two dumb people with him that you see in the right hand side of this picture, right? Paresh Rawal. He always gets frustrated, right? Because these people plan something and something else only happens, right? Typical to what happens in our waterfall plans, right? We plan too much. We say that, okay, you know what? 1 year down the line, I will be doing this. We do maximum planning, but minimum execution. It has to be reverse. It has to be minimal planning and maximum execution. That's what came to my mind when I look at this dialogue, and especially this picture, what is there, right? That it has to be minimal planning and maximum execution, right? That is what our definition of done should be, rather than spending, let's say, out of 365 days, 360 days in planning and only 5 days in execution. So maybe we are planning too much. Maybe we are spending time for introspection. Even from a waterfall project point of view, we might be spending too much of time in planning rather than the actual execution, or rather than the actual work. The business value is not in planning. The business value is in delivering something quickly. So that's the business value what we have. So maximum planning, minimal execution. So one of the last pictures what I have is this, again from the movie Majboor. Okay, again from a very classic old Bollywood movie Majboor. And he again talks about value. There's a dialogue between the two. And Amitabh Bachchan says, you know what, I have heard that even underworld people have got values. And Pran replies saying that only underworld people have got values. Normal citizens don't have values. Okay. Usul, right? Michael, मैंने सुना है कि चोरों के भी कुछ उसूल होते हैं. तुमने ठीक ही सुना है. चोरों के ही तो उसूल होते हैं. Only thieves have got values. Okay, and this is what I posted on LinkedIn. Also, I got a lot of reaction on LinkedIn, and that's why you see that snippet like that, right? In that horizontal format, what is there? So, are we actually imbibing those values, right? The values of the Agile Manifesto, the principles, the 4 values and the 12 principles of the Agile Manifesto in our day-to-day life? Or is it something like which is just on a paper on site agilemanifesto.org? We occasionally visit them when there's a training happening, and we forget about it when our teams start doing the work, right? That is the message which I wanted to give, or that is an important highlight which I wanted to give, that values are not there just to be on the paper. Values are there to be on the ground, something what we have to ensure that the team is implementing those values, right? So that's the value what we need to bring about in our transformation. As an agile coach, we have to ensure that the values and the principles are actioned upon, are being put upon by the team in their agile transformation which are there. So these were the 12 pictures which I picked up just to highlight what exactly we can do, how we can learn from these memes, how we can learn from these pictures. And as per my interpretation, some of these situations I have faced in my life, I have encountered some characters actually mirroring these characters, what you saw. And I have learned a lot from this, right? To be very honest, I've learned a lot from these pictures, learned a lot from the events trying to correlate with this picture. As I promised, I will come out with more second version of this. If this is something which excited you, if this is something which brought in cheers on a Friday evening to all of you, I'm more than happy to bring in a second version of this with a new set of pictures. Before I open the floor for questions, I just wanted to let you know, Pune folks, I'm doing an in-person conference tomorrow morning. I'm presenting in one of the conference. It is Agile Next. It's a free event. So if you are interested, do register for it. It is by Globant. So this conference is happening in the Globant office. So do come there. I'll be talking on another topic. Obviously, I'll not be talking on this topic. It's a totally different topic on which I'll be talking. So you can ping me for the registration link. We still have few seats available. It's a free conference, but only register if you're coming. Okay, do not register and don't register and then don't turn up, right? You will waste a seat, right? But it's a free to join event which is there. I'm sharing the link of that event. I'm presenting on another interesting topic in this conference, and I will be more than happy to meet you in person. I always believe that a personal connect is very important, and I have pinged you the link in the chat box. So those of you who are on LinkedIn live will get this link shortly. So, or you can ping me individually and I'll share the link. But as I said, do register only if you're planning to come, right? It's a full day event. It's from 9 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock in the evening. I'm assuming that the registrations are still open. So feel free to register. You will meet me in person. We can talk about it and we'll be more than happy to meet you in person. That is one announcement which I wanted to do. So this is in Pune, Hinjawdi, Pune. Okay, so this is happening in Pune. So it's in the Hinjawdi office of Global. Another thing is next Friday, we have another interesting session, and I'm not speaking for a change. Okay, I'm not speaking for a change. It's one of my colleagues who's going to talk about how to become a product rock star. So those of you are interested in becoming a product rock star, do join that session. It is going to happen on 16th of December, 2022, which is next Friday when this session is going to happen. So we will be shortly opening up the registration links for those sessions, and do register for that session. And last but not the least, do subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll be more than happy to have subscribers like you, and give critical feedback. Watch videos and provide us the critical feedback on the videos which are there. So on that note, I open the floor for any questions if anyone has. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask me any questions. Okay, so let me open up the floor for questions. And yeah, let me know if anyone has got any questions around it. Yeah, so any questions, feel free to unmute yourself and ask me any questions. Yeah.
Hi, Stush.
Yeah, hi.
My question is for the last slide, like where you mentioned, are you planning too much? So what we need to do, like if we will not plan something, then how we will proceed further without planning?
No, I didn't say that you don't have to plan. I didn't say zero planning. I said minimal planning, maximum execution. You just have to change the two words. The positioning of the two words is what you have to change. Maximum should be below, minimum should be on top. It should be reverse. I didn't say zero planning. No framework will talk about zero planning. It will talk about minimal planning and maximum focus on execution. That is a difference. Yes.
But how to, what is the criteria for this? Like this should be the minimum or maximum planning criteria.
So that's something, there are frameworks which advise you, right? I mean, if you, for example, if you're using Scrum, it will tell you how much should be the duration of a sprint planning meeting, the maximum duration. That is there as a part of the Scrum guide. So many other frameworks will also talk about it. And secondly, as a coach, you can always set that benchmark limits that, okay, I think team, you're discussing too many things or you're going too much into details. Let's time box it. So time boxing is the answer for this. But what works for one team may not work for other team. There can be guidelines on what can be the maximum amount you should be spending. And most of these frameworks give you the guidelines. But within that guidelines, you have to understand and coach the team that what would work best for them. So that is what I would say here.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, sure. Anyone else? Any questions?
Hello, Sandeep here.
Yes, Sandeep, yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So for the planning point of view, the Scrum Master is the main responsible for the planning durations or something, which something means entire the sprint planning, the 2 week sprint planning. The whatever the stories the development team is telling the right story points, something. If they are giving more or less, right? Who is responsible if something is wrong, or how we can manage that thing? How can we as Scrum Master, how we can help them to do this thing?
No, so there are multiple questions you have asked in that one question. See, the thing is the entire team is responsible. It's not one person who's responsible for a failure. I think that's first thing we need to understand. It's as a team we swim together or as a team we sink together. It's like all of you going in a boat and doing canoeing. Even if one person is the weakest link, the boat is going to drown, right? So it's not a blame game, right? It's about the entire team taking the responsibility for it and committing that, yes, we are likely to achieve this objective. This is a sprint goal and we are committing towards it. But at the same time, when we say commitment, it's a commitment to a forecast. It's not a commitment to something which we know is going to happen. So yes, we also know that in first few sprints, in fact, I would be surprised to know if a team doesn't fail. I mean, as a coach, I am failed if my team is not failing. I'll put it that way. As a coach, if you are only handling successful teams, that means you have not really done coaching. So your teams will initially fail in the first few sprints. You learn from it, you introspect, you retrospect, you learn from it, lessons learned, and then you feedback it into the sprint planning process and then work towards improvement. That's the mantra from a success point of view. So success is not going to come from the first sprint. Success is going to come in subsequent sprints based on the learnings of failures from the previous sprints.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, anyone else? Yeah, and I see a lot of questions on LinkedIn Live. Don't worry, I'll individually come back to you on those questions and answer those questions to you. Okay, any other question? Any other question? Yeah, so do attend the next week's session. We will be publishing the flyers on LinkedIn. I think many of you are a part of my Telegram group, so you will come to know there. The next week's session once it gets published, and yeah, so it will be one of my colleagues from the product management world who's going to talk about how to become a product manager, a product rock star. Sorry, not product manager, product rock star. How to go ahead and become a product rock star.
Yeah. So please share Telegram link. If you have WhatsApp or Telegram link, we don't have it. We're in
Okay,
YouTube channel, but not in the Telegram or WhatsApp group.
Okay, so by the way, on the YouTube channel itself, there's a Telegram link, but anyways, I'll share it here once again.
Okay.
I'll share the link for anyone who wants to become a member, and yeah, feel free to join on Telegram if interested. Of course, that's not a mandatory. Telegram, I mean, some people might not be comfortable, but I'm sharing the link here, the Telegram link. Feel free to join on Telegram. Okay, any other question anyone has? Okay. Yeah, if you're okay, you can come on camera. I mean, I'll be more than happy to see you all on camera. So that we can see majority of you on the camera. I always believe, as I said, right? I mean, this is something I mean, face-to-face interaction is always the best form of interaction, right? Even the principle says that, right? One of the agile principles. Okay. Fine, then I think, yeah, it seems there are no further questions, but anyways, thanks everyone for the, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Please.
Yes.
So for like agile coach or scrum master, how, I mean, for example, we are collecting the data in Jira, right? So based on the dashboard or the tracking mechanism, how relevant is it for the agile coach or scrum master to make this strategy that is based on the data?
No, obviously data, I mean, obviously one of the things what you are expected to do is guide the team on what kind of matrix work, what kind of matrix will not work. So you guide the team on that, you coach the team on that, right? So more than data, I would say the matrix form a very crucial part, right? And what the data is trying to hint, not what the data is showing, but what is the thing, what you're seeing from the data. That is something which is very important. Yeah, data will show so many things, but what is that you are seeing from that data is something what is very, very important, right? So yes, there are a lot of matrix, there are a lot of reports, there are a lot of data analysis you can do from these tools. As I said, right, you can even do that in Excel for that matter, which is what brought me to that first picture, right, which I showed that do we really need to know these tools? And the answer is no. I mean, I don't need to know the tools, but I should be knowing that what kind of reports the senior leadership would require for consumption, or what kind of reports will be helpful to the product owner, what kind of reports will be helpful to the team as a whole, is what I should be having that vision and should be able to get that those reports out quickly. That is how I would put it.
Just an example, Ashutosh, like sometime I'm getting from my management, we need FTE data based on the story point. How relevant it is? Do we need to?
No, it is not relevant. I mean, that's a ask. I mean, which is not possible at all. I mean, see, first of all, Jira is not a timesheet software. I think that's again a misconception which people have. It's not a timesheet software. There are very good timesheet softwares which are there, and most of the timesheet softwares are developed by enterprises themselves because they have to customize it. Jira is a tool to capture from a sprint point of view how we are doing and are we in line with the sprint goal or not. That's the plain simple use of Jira. And if you try to use that tool for something else, obviously the results are going to be disastrous, right? You won't get what the tool is for. It's like expecting a refrigerator to function like a microwave oven. It's not going to happen, though the technology might be same. The backend might be same, but a refrigerator can't be a microwave can't be a refrigerator. So to expect that I will get an FT data from Jira and then compare it with my timesheet, it's a wasteful exercise if you ask me. And as I said, right, we really are not using the tool to its fullest potential, or the intended functionality of the tool is what we are not using it for.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thanks. All right. Okay, then I think then we are good to close for the session. Thanks once again for joining in. I hope the investment was worth its time, and really appreciate, looking forward to see Pune folks tomorrow in the event and meet in person. So on that note, thanks. Have a happy weekend and enjoy your Friday. Thank you very much.